There are certain moments on Love and Hip Hop that burn themselves into memory. And this one might just outdo them all. The rumors have been swirling for days about a blow-up at a private cast dinner. The whispers from inside the set painted something even messier. Multiple behind-the-scenes sources claim the tension hit a boiling point when Sierra allegedly launched a full drink straight up Mendeecees. And all because of something Erica Mena said that froze the entire table in place. It started like so many production dinners do. Soft lighting, polished plates, producers quietly hoping for a little shade and a lot of sound bites. But under the polite laughter was a storm that everyone at that table could feel building. Sierra walked in wearing a fitted cream dress, hair pulled back tight, scanning each face like she was checking the temperature of the room. Mendeecees sat 2 seats away, leaning back in his chair, scrolling his phone like the night was just another booking. Across from him, Erica had that unreadable look, the kind that could flip from a smile to a storm without warning. The small talk was harmless at first. Kirk was rambling through another business deal disaster, while Rashida nodded along occasionally, reining him in. But the air shifted when Erica set her wine glass down, leaned forward and said, just loud enough for everyone to hear, I've been holding something in, and it's been eating at me. Forks froze midair. Kirk looked up, Yandy's lips pressed tight. Mendeecees smirked like he'd heard it all before. Sierra straightened, sensing the blow was aimed in his direction. Then Erica said it. Backstage, Mendeecees said something to me that crossed a line. The ripple was instant. Yandy's shoulders stiffened. Rashida glanced at him, urging him silently to speak. He didn't. He leaned back, arms folded, eyes locked on Erica as if daring her to continue when Sierra finally asked, what exactly did he say? The answer landed like a crack in the table. It wasn't a compliment. It was disrespectful. About my body, about what I was wearing. No gasps, no screaming, just a subtle shift in energy when everyone realizes they've stepped into something ugly. Mendeecees' voice was calm, but with an edge. That's not how it went. Erica laughed, but it was the kind of laugh that says I expected that. Sierra's tone sharpened. So she's lying? He didn't look at her. I'm saying she's twisting it. That was enough to light the fuse. Sierra leaned in, her voice low but cutting. You think it's okay to just say whatever you want to people? Huh? His gaze shifted to her. Now? You weren't there. Her reply came fast. I don't need to be there to know when someone's crossing the line. The table fractured. Kirk tried to change the subject. Rashida muttered that this was about to go left. Yandy shook her head, staying silent. But the pull between Sierra and Mendeecees was magnetic. Every look and word pushing closer to the edge. Erica leaned back, letting Sierra carry the fire, her eyes never leaving him. So let me get this straight, Sierra pressed. She says, you crossed the line, and your first move is to act like she's making it up? Mendeecees didn't flinch. People say things all the time in this group. Now suddenly when it's me, it's a scandal. The word scandal hung in the air like a dare. Sierra's hand tightened around her glass, condensation slipping between her fingers. She wasn't shouting yet, but her voice carried enough steel to make even the crew shift uneasily. Erica's smirk sharpened. This was right where she wanted it. Rashida whispered something to Kirk, and his eyes flicked toward the drinks on the table. He'd seen this look in Sierra before, the split second before a move she couldn't take back. Mendeecees, either oblivious or unbothered, leaned in. You want to believe her? That's your choice. But I don't owe either of you an explanation. The silence that followed was electric. Sierra's eyes narrowed. Erica watched, like a spectator at a fight she paid good money to see. Rashida's hand brushed Sierra's arm, a warning ignored. Mendeecees reached for his drink. That's when Sierra moved. Her chair scraped back, her grip on the glass tightening until her knuckles went white. She didn't shout, didn't monologue, just locked eyes with him and in one smooth motion sent the drink flying. Ice clattered, liquid splashed across his shirt and onto the table. Gasps, shouts, the screech of chairs. Mendeecees froze for half a heartbeat before shoving his chair back. The set exploded. Crew members rushed in, hands up, unsure whether to separate them or let it play for the cameras. And at the far end of the table, Erica sat back watching it burn, her smirk saying everything without a single word. The momentum was rolling now, and no one at that table seemed ready to pump the brakes. Sierra stepped out from her chair, circling the table until she was just a few feet from Mendeecees. She didn't shout, but the steel in her voice cut clean through the air. You think just because you've been here forever, you can say whatever you want? Not with me, not with Erica, not with anybody. Mendeecees leaned forward, elbows on the table. And you think you get to decide what happened when you weren't even there? I believe her. Sierra shot back so fast it caught him off guard. He blinked, looked away, then smirked, the kind of smirk that was meant to sting. Figures. Erica shifted her body towards Sierra, arms crossed in solidarity. You smirk now. But that's the same thing you did when you made the comment. You laughed like it was a joke, like I was supposed to smile and take it. Mendeecees' voice dropped, low and deliberate. You left out the part where you were talking about me first. It landed like a second crack of thunder. Heads turned, Erica's brow furrowed, her voice climbing for the first time. Don't twist this. What I said wasn't about you like that. That's not how I heard it, he said, flat. Sierra let out a sharp sigh, half turning to the table. This is why people don't come forward, because there's always someone ready to flip it on them. Kurt tapped the table lightly in attempt to redirect. Look, this is going in circles. Maybe we should. He never finished. Erica, cut in, her tone slicing clean. If you want me to sit here and pretend nothing happened, that's not going to happen. I'm not backing down. Mendeecees shoved his chair back slightly. The scrape loud in the silence. You don't have to back down. Just stop acting like your version is the only one that matters. Sierra's jaw tightened. So, we're just supposed to believe you, is that it? He met her stare. Believe whatever helps you sleep at night. The word believe wasn't a dagger, it was the way he said it. Folding the whole moment into something small enough to brush off, Erica leaned back, lips pressed into a line. Sierra stood her ground, hands planted on her hips, body language screaming louder than her voice. Rashida finally spoke, her tone firm. This is exactly the kind of thing that ends up all over the blogs. She wasn't wrong. In the back, a crew member was already being told to flag certain camera angles, and the whispers were moving. Someone had caught the whole thing on their phone before producers clocked it. The idea that this would stay inside the set was gone. Only Yandy had slipped out. The rest stayed rooted, watching like it was a sport. They couldn't stop. Mendeecees was to come now, and that composure was starting to grate. If you think throwing a drink makes you the hero, go ahead. Says more about you than me. Sierra fired back without blinking. Nah. It says everything. About you. The producers exchanged silent looks. Intervene or let it roll. The mix stayed hot. Erica leaned forward, voice lower but razor sharp. I don't need anyone to fight my battles. But it says a lot when someone else sees it for what it is. Mendeecees looked from Erica to Sierra, then down at the table. He took a slow sip from the fresh water someone had set in front of him. You think you've got the whole picture. You don't. The words weren't an olive branch. They were a warning. Sierra shook her head, laughing without humor. Erica stayed silent, but her eyes were locked on him like she was saving something for later. The table felt like it was holding its breath. Every clink of silverware sounded too loud. Canberra stayed locked on the three of them. Everyone else was just background. Finally, Sierra slid back into her seat, moving slow and deliberate, never breaking eye contact. Erica sat back, arms crossed, watching like she was keeping score. Mendeecees, still damp from the drink, wore that same collective mask, and it was starting to bother everyone more than if he'd snapped. It's funny, Sierra said evenly, how the ones who say the most out-of-pocket stuff are the same ones who play calm when they're called out. He didn't blink. It's not calm, it's just not worth yelling over. That made Erica sit forward again, sharper now. You think it's not worth yelling over because you're not the one who got disrespected? Or, Mendeecees countered, because I didn't disrespect anyone. A low groan rolled from down the table. Spice, who'd been quiet until now, propped her chin on her hand. Y'all gonna go back and forth all night? 'Cause I got better things to do. You can leave. Sierra shot. I still on Mendeecees. Nobody asked you to stay. Spice smirked, leaning back. Kurt chuckled under his breath until Rashida's glare shut him up. Erica cut back in. You want to talk about what was said? Fine. Let's talk about it. Mendeecees raised a brow. Go ahead. Erica took a breath. You said, and I quote, you're lucky you can still wear that after everything you've had done. And you laughed like it was a joke. A couple of quiet damn s slipped out from nearby. Even Spice sat up straighter. Mendeecees didn't deny it, but his expression shifted, less defensive, more calculating. And you left out that before I said that. You were telling people I was too old to still be acting like a young boy. You came at me first. Erica laughed once, incredulous. So what? That gives you the right to talk about my body. I didn't talk about your body, he said, leaning in. I talked about the way you carry yourself, acting like you're above everybody, then getting mad when someone answers back. Sierra cut in, voice sharp. Nah, you crossed a line. Whether she said something about your age or not, you went somewhere you shouldn't have gone. Mendeecees shrugged. That's your opinion. And that shrug lit a fire in Sierra, her voice climbing again. It's not just my opinion, it was basic respect, or the lack of it, and the air pulsed with the weight of that unspoken truth. Erica sat stiff beside Sierra, her lips pressed tight, nodding in agreement. Mendeecees looked between them like he was carefully picking his next card to play. Finally, he leaned back, exhaling slow. This whole thing could have been a conversation. He said evenly, but y'all wanted to be a headline. That got Rashida's attention. You think anybody here needs to make up drama for a headline? You got a drink thrown on you because you couldn't keep it respectful. That's not made up. Mendeecees didn't bite back at her. Instead, he locked onto Erica. If you had a problem with what I said, you could have pulled me aside. But you wanted an audience. You had an audience when you said it. Erica fired back. Eyes locked. So now you've got one while I respond. A couple of people chuckled under their breath. Careful not to draw attention. Kirk fiddled with his phone like he'd just gotten a text. Everyone knew he hadn't. Spice shook her head and poured herself another drink. Sierra leaned in, tone softer but still pointed. You know what the problem is. You don't even see what was wrong with what you said. Mendeecees stared at her. And you're so sure you're right that nothing I say matters. I was there. Erica cut in sharply. And I know what I heard. The silence after wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, charged somewhere. A crew member whispered about how tonight's footage was already marked for special review. The blogs would feast on this. Mendeecees pushed his glass away and stood, the scrape of chair legs cutting through the tension. You want me to say sorry for something I don't think was wrong? That's not gonna happen. Erica didn't blink. Then don't be surprised when people stop giving you the benefit of the doubt. His jaw tightened, but he walked toward the far corner, where a producer was waiting. The table shifted into murmurs as he left. Sierra tapped her fingers lightly against her glass. Erica tracked his every step until he was out of sight. In the corner, Mendeecees gestured slowly to the producer, clearly making his case. Back at the table, Erica leaned towards Sierra, her voice low. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but the way he's been carrying himself lately, nah. It had to be said. Sierra nodded, glancing toward the corner, and the way he tried to downplay it. That's exactly why I did what I did. Just seats away, someone laughed. You sure you didn't just make this 10 times bigger? Sierra cut her gaze over, voice clipped. Sometimes things need to get bigger so people actually pay attention. Footsteps pulled every eye back to the front. Mendeecees returned, face unreadable. He didn't sit right away, just stood at the head of the table. Here's what's gonna happen, he said, steady but tense. I'm not going back and forth about what was said. You've got your story. I've got mine. Fine. But I'm not gonna be disrespected either. Erica raised a brow. And you think you weren't disrespectful first. You can keep saying that. He replied, doesn't make it true. Rashida sighed, rubbing her temples. Honestly, this is exhausting. Erica snapped back. It's exhausting when you're pretending it's nothing, when you're the one it's about. It's infuriating. Sierra leaned forward again. You just don't get it. Mendeecees shot back. What I get is you're making this your fight because it gives you a reason to come at me. The words hit like a match on dry wood. Sierra's chair scraped back, but Rashida grabbed her arm. Don't. It's not worth it. Nah, Sierra said, shaking her head, voice rising. He's not gonna question why I stand up for somebody. I've been through too much to let anyone slide with that. Mendeecees didn't flinch. And I've been through enough to know when somebody's just trying to get a reaction. The standoff held for a long beat before Erica's voice cut through, softer but sharper. You know what's sad? You could have just owned it. Even if you didn't mean it that way, you could have said, my bad. Instead, you doubled down. He looked at her, jaw tight. Spice, still smirking, muttered something about this breaking the internet and took a slow sip. Finally, Mendeecees spoke. I'm not apologizing for something I didn't do. Twist it, run with it. Make it a storyline, that's on you. But I'm not feeding it. The choice of words hit differently. Make it a storyline. Everyone caught the implication. Erica exhaled slowly. Then don't be surprised when the storyline writes you as a villain. With that, she stood, heels clicking as she walked away. Sierra stayed seated this time, eyes on Mendeecees. You can act like this is over, she said low. But it's not. He didn't answer. He sat, picked up his plate, and started eating like the last 20 minutes hadn't happened. The table small talk limped back, but the energy was fractured behind the cameras. The crew traded looks, some smirked, others shook their heads. Someone whispered that leaks had already started. Through it all, Mendeecees stayed silent. Erica stayed gone. Sierra sat arms crossed, replaying every second. And that's where it stands, one comment, one confession, and one glass of liquor turning a cast dinner into a war zone. Fans are already flooding timelines with their theories, dissecting every glare, every smirk. Some praise Erica for finally calling out behavior that's gone unchecked. Others side with Mendeecees, saying it was blown out of proportion. And plenty can't stop debating Sierra, hero or over the line. The truth, only those in that room know exactly how it went down. and they're not telling the same story. What's certain is that this tension isn't going anywhere, whether on camera or behind the scenes. Cracks like this change everything. So, what do you think? Was Sierra right to step in? Did Erica have every reason to put it on the table? Or was Mendeecees pushed into a corner he didn't deserve? Drop your thoughts because this conversation is far from over. Far from over.